is the powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean, VON Radio, from the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
From the VON Newsline, this is the VON Major Newscast.
Good evening. I am Daniel Moore, in with your VON Major News package for today, Friday, 31st January 2020. In our lead stories nationally, new Treasury building officially opens here on Nevis. And new Bill Johnson election poll points to victory for Labour, opposing Cadre's poll of preferred Team Unity administration. Regionally, Carnival cruise ship passenger dies during trip to Bahamas. Internationally, UK to quit EU as PM promises new dawn. And in sports, Lakers gradually opening up as they prepare for first game following Kobe Bryant's death. We'll have the details to these and other stories after this short break.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, VON.
Welcome back, and now for the national news. Following a Cadre's poll by renowned pollster Peter Wickham projecting that the Team Unity administration wins the upcoming federal election, there has been an opposing development. Wickham's poll, which was conducted in October of 2019, showed that 43% of the population in the Federation was supportive of the Team Unity administration, while 33% were supportive of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. Results of a poll conducted in December in 2019 and released on January 29, 2020 by pollster Bill Johnson projected opposite results. Speaking on a local radio talk show in St. Kitts on Wednesday 29 January, Johnson revealed the results of that December poll.
At this point, I'm projecting that Labour is ahead in 7 seats, having real challenges in 2 seats, and 2 seats are up for grabs. Let's just take the 8 constituencies in St. Kitts. Dr. Douglas is significantly ahead of Timothy Harris in 6 of those constituencies. Harris is a shade better perceived in 1, and as you might imagine, in number 7 is better perceived than Dr. Douglas. But in 6 of them, Dr. Douglas has a decided lead over who they want as prime minister and who would make the best prime minister. And 1 is sort of a toss-up, and then the other one, Harris leads Douglas. So when I see figures that claim that overall Harris is favored over Douglas, I just can't believe those figures.
The pollster, who has some 50 years of experience, has conducted polls for the Team Unity administration, indicating that regardless on which side he was conducting the poll for, the results would be the same.
The surveys that I do are accurate. If I were doing the same surveys for Team Unity, I would be coming up with the same results. So it's not a question of the questions are slanted toward my client or the results are slanted by my client. The results are the results, regardless of who is paying my fee. My reputation is much more important than momentarily pleasing a client.
Mr. Bill Johnson. A new building to house the Treasury Department here on Nevis officially opened on Thursday, January 30th, and an official ceremony to mark the occasion was held in Charlestown at 3 p.m., which saw the attendance of government officials from both St. Kitts and Nevis and members of the public. The new edifice will also house the Inland Revenue Department, IRD, and the Information Technology Department of the Nevis Island Administration. Speaking during the ceremony, Premier the Honorable Mark Brantley said the building represents who Nevisians are.
No doubt it would have transformed Charlestown because you can see it from almost anywhere you are in town. And I've had the privilege of going to the top of this building. And I believe when you go, you too will be blown away by the panoramic view of Charlestown. It gives you a different perspective. But the reason why I think this building as a landmark is going to be important, because to me it represents the spirit of the Navajo people. Our history has shown that from time to time we've suffered calamity. From time to time we've been down, but always somehow this small island manages to rise. And this building is symbolic of that spirit of renewal that is the quintessential Navajo spirit.
Premier the Honorable Mark Brantley. Former Premier and Senior Minister in the federal government, the Honorable Vance Amory, also spoke at the event.
There are concerns which people have, and I'm sure all those concerns have been laid to rest. I want to just say how very pleased I am, how very privileged I feel to be part of this project here today, the commissioning of this building, and to say also that the achievement of the Nevis administration is a demonstration of the resilience of the people of Nevis and how we usually respond in times of crisis and times of tragedy. We've had a few, and this perhaps was our latest tragedy, and we responded with the kind of strength, the calmness, which now has led to what we have here today.
The Honorable Vance Amory. Approximately 6 years ago, an early morning fire gutted the previous structure that housed the above-mentioned departments as well as the Philatelic Bureau. Thus, the NIA had to take a decision to rebuild the facility. The reconstruction project began in October of 2017 and was earmarked for completion between 18 to 24 months. With respect to funding for the project, EC $6.5 million was funded by the Sugar Industry Diversification Fund, SIDF, and $1.5 million was funded by the NIA, totaling $8 million. On Monday, 27th January 2020, health officials here on Nevis held a sensitization event at ports of entry on the island as the outbreak of the coronavirus continues to spread. The event was held at the Vance W. Amory International Airport and began at 9:30 a.m. and saw a number of immigration officials in attendance. Medical Officer of Healthcare on Nevis, Dr. Judy Nisbet, explained the activities of the day's event.
We provided information on the 2019 novel coronavirus outbreak that is currently occurring in mainland China. And we discussed also preparedness measures required at the points of entry. Of note, we elicited the assistance of immigration and customs, in particular immigration with surveillance, and in particular ensuring that question 17 of the immigration declaration form be filled out by all incoming travelers to indicate the countries that they would have visited in the last 6 weeks or countries that they may have transited through in the past 6 weeks.
She noted that the knowledge imparted to those in attendance was welcomed. But how effective was this training? Dr. Nisbet explained what the health authority is looking to achieve or safeguard against from holding this sensitizing event.
It's a means of surveillance for us. The persons at the port can assist us because those are the first persons who would interact with visitors, and therefore they would be able to give us information that we need that we can then act on.
Dr. Judy Nisbet. 10,000 cases of the new coronavirus have been confirmed, most in China, since it emerged in December with more than 100 reported cases outside China in 22 countries, and the number of deaths so far stands at 213, all in China. Traffic accidents continue to be a grave concern here in St. Kitts and Nevis. The Federation has recorded over 15 traffic accidents for the month of January 2020 alone. In an interview with the VON Newsline on Wednesday, 8th January 2020, head of the Nevis Division of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, Superintendent David, had some words of advice for pedestrians. He cautioned individuals to be cautious, addressed the use of the pedestrian crossing, and reminded commuters, that they are not the only road users.
Even though the pedestrian crossing is there for you to cross, and it's not for you to waste time, it's for you to get across as quickly as possible and safely. And we're asking school children as well. The sidewalk is there for people to use and not the middle of the road. If there's no sidewalk, well, we understand that, but you still must walk as close as possible to either the left or the right side of the road, whichever side you're using, as opposed to take up the whole road, you slow down traffic, and there's no reason for that. Sometimes things happen. approximate gaze, and depending on the speed, you reach up and quick on that individual. Also, we want them not to push each other. So, pedestrians, use the road wisely and correctly. Avoid accidents, whether they're going to be slight, serious, or fatal.
Meanwhile, the senior officer sought to shed light on animal owners having their animals wandering freely on public main roads across the island. He noted, poses a danger to human and animal life and cautioned motorists from willfully striking these animals with their vehicles because of the dangers it possesses.
I'm saying to my animal farmers, you have invested into your animals. The drivers hit them and leave them on the road. Drivers again, look at it this way. If it were your animal, your pet dog that you spend so much money on, would you really intentionally hit it? I want someone to intentionally hit it, or you want them to slow down and let it pass? So just like how we care for human beings crossing the road, we should do the same for animals. So I want to draw this to the attention of the owners of the animals and the drivers. Owners, take care of your investment and keep your sheep and goats off the road. We need to pay more attention to these animals, and the owners keep them off the road.
Superintendent Lyndon David. This comes as the Federation also recorded their first road fatality on January 10th with the death of Melissa Lawrence of Newcastle, Nevis, who succumbed to her injuries following a singular vehicle accident on January 1st, 2020 in the Cotton Ground area. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis has answered the call for assistance by the University of the West Indies Open Campus to repair areas of the institution which were damaged by the passages of Hurricane Irma and Maria in 2017. The government lent the institution EC $140,000 in 2019. Vice Chancellor Representative on the University of the West Indies Council, who is responsible for the management of the university, Dr. Robertine Chatterton, commented on the condition of the center after the hurricanes and the adverse effects that resulted, and stated that the institution was unable to have any classes. Dr. Chatterton stated that the financial assistance was necessary as the insurance did not cover the cost of repairs. She expressed how grateful the university was for the assistance. The renovations included completely refurbishing the roof as well as replacing the windows and the electrical fittings, which had been waterlogged, and the air conditioning unit. In police news, persons have been assisting the police with investigations into the death of 28-year-old Kennedy K. Isles, who was fatally wounded on Friday, January 24th. 2 persons were taken into police custody on Wednesday, January 29th to assist with investigations, while another 2 were recently released from custody. According to a police communique, the investigative arm of the force is following every lead in the case. The police are making an appeal to anyone who might have any information in relation to this incident to call the Violent Crimes Unit, VCU, at 467-1887, 662-34868, or their nearest police station. Persons are also urged to share information by dialing their crime hotline's number 707. Investigations have revealed that Isles of Taylor Village, who resided at Sandown Road, Newtown, St. Kitts, was outside his home when he was approached by an armed assailant who opened fire at him. He was shot several times about the body and succumbed to his injuries at the scene. A post-mortem examination was conducted by forensic pathologist Dr. Valerie Alexandrov on Sunday, January 26th, on the body of Isles. Dr. Alexandrov concluded that the cause of death was as a result of multiple gunshot wounds to the body. And finally, in our national news segment, former chairman of the Integrity in Public Life IPL Commission, Mr. Damien Kelsick, has been appointed to act as High Court Judge of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court for the period of February 1st to April 9th, 2020. The Judicial and Legal Service Commission of the Eastern Caribbean Court also advised that Mr. Kelsick has been assigned to Antigua and Barbuda. And that's the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vaughanradio.com or check us out on Facebook at Vaughan Radio or our Vaughan Radio YouTube channel for these and other stories. News from across the region is next.
your business needs, and we're here to help. Our knowledgeable staff will work with you to help you achieve the financial success that you or your company needs in a competitive market. We offer solutions to make your banking experience easier, like our savings and checking accounts. Be sure to ask about our youth savers accounts and our Bank of Nevis Go Club. We offer a wide range of personal loans, including mortgage, land, student, auto, and consumer loans. Have access to your funds instantly with our BeOnline internet banking and our debit and credit cards. We make international banking and investing easy. How's your business? Give it the leverage it really needs by letting the Bank of Nevis assist you with all the necessary funding for all your business expenses. It's that easy. What are you waiting for? The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life.
Like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/The Bank of Nevis.
Welcome back, and now for the regional news. Out of Antigua, murder trial defendant Amid Ilan Ketwaru has walked free after a jury returned a verdict of not guilty on Wednesday, 29th January for the murder of the so-called Calypso farmer. 37-year-old Ketwaru was accused of killing her ex-partner, 72-year-old Carmona the Mighty Farmer Samuel, during an altercation at Samuel's Gilbert Estate farm 2 years ago. On Tuesday, the defense counsel, Lawrence Daniel, put forward a no-case submission on the matter. Daniel's no-case submission relied on evidence that the Mighty Farmer was quick-tempered, suicidal, and also threatened Ketwaru's life. Due to a lack of evidence on the prosecution's part, the Crown yielded. As a result, the judge, Ian Morley, asked the 12-man jury to return a verdict of not guilty Wednesday afternoon. It was said that on September 20, 2017, sometime after 3 p.m., Ketwaru and Samuel had an argument at his Gilbert's Estate property that led to them both being stabbed. Samuel, a repeat winner of the Farmer of the Year competition, and who also made it to the finals of various Calypso competitions, was found dead on his stairs with stab wounds to his chest. Trinidad and Tobago has imposed a 14-day restriction on travelers from China to prevent the spread of a new strain of coronavirus on the Caribbean island nation, Health Minister Terence Dayal Singh said on Thursday. The newly identified China coronavirus has created alarm because it is spreading quickly and there are still important unknowns surrounding it. The World Health Organization on Thursday declared the outbreak that has killed 213 people in China a global emergency as cases spread to 22 countries. The virus has an incubation of up to 14 days, and there are some limited signs it may also be able to spread before any symptoms show. Like other respiratory infections, it spreads between people in droplets from coughs and sneezes. It is still too early to know what its death rate will be, since there are likely to be many cases of milder disease going undetected. And that's how we wrap up the regional news segment. International news is up next. Welcome back, and now for the international news. The UK has left the EU today, ending 47 years of membership. In a video message released earlier today, Prime Minister Boris Johnson called Brexit, which follows more than 3 years of political wrangling, a new dawn. A series of events, including marches, celebrations, and candlelit vigils, were held by both Brexiters and pro-EU demonstrators. Little will change immediately as the UK begins a transition period. The EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen called it an emotional day and warned the nations we're weaker on their own.
Our experience has taught us that strength does not lie in splendid isolation, but in our unique union. Nowhere else in the world can you find 27 nations of 440 million people speaking 24 different languages, relying on each other, working together, living together.
More in this BBC report.
This is by so much distance the biggest trading bloc for the UK, and the EU also has huge interdependence that they have to remain close. I think they don't have a choice. Getting there is the challenge. It's going to be very difficult, not least because there is a British government with a decent majority that can fight tooth and nail to try to get what it wants. Whether that can be achieved in a matter of 9 months or so, which is realistically what it would be, is anyone's guess.
Authorities in the Australian Capital Territory have declared a state of emergency as massive bushfires rage south Canberra. It is the worst fire threat to the territory in nearly 2 decades, officials said. The main blaze in the territory's south is burning over more than 18,500 hectares. Residents of suburbs of Canberra have been urged to remain alert for potential evacuations. More in this BBC report.
Residents in the suburbs of Canberra have been urged to remain alert for potential evacuations. Andrew Barr, the Chief Minister of the Australian Capital Territory, has said the area is now facing the worst bushfire threat since the devastating blazes of 2003, which killed 4 people in the city and destroyed nearly 500 homes. The worst fire is currently burning just south of the district of Tuggeranong. Firefighters have been battling temperatures as high as 40 Celsius, along with strong winds and a tender, dry landscape.
3 Moscow sisters accused of murdering their father are likely to have charges reduced to necessary self-defense, their lawyers say. The decision by Russia's chief prosecutor could lead to their criminal prosecution being dropped, lawyer Alexei Parshin told TASS News Agency. In July of 2018, the teenage Khachaturan sisters stabbed and battered their father to death in his sleep. He had beaten and sexually abused them, so many Russians urged their release. More than 350,000 people signed a petition supporting the sisters, and their high-profile case was a powerful argument for a new law against domestic violence expected to take effect this year. And that is the international news. Sports is up next.
Center and City Drugstore Nevis, your one-stop shop for all your school supply needs. Get bundle savings on backpack and computer packages, but save 20% off all back-to-school materials and printers. Back-to-school shopping is made easy at TDC Business Center and City Drugstore Nevis. See stores for details.
Welcome back, and now for sports. In basketball, the season resumes tonight, Friday, for the Lakers. Following a 5-day heartbreak, the franchise still numb from the tragedy and searching for ways to invite normalcy. The lives of Kobe Bryant and 8 others who perished in a Sunday helicopter accident, including his 13-year-old daughter, Gigi, will be remembered in some manner before tip-off, during the game, and perhaps after the buzzer against Trailblazers on tonight. The team was mum on details, but coach Frank Vogel hinted plans were well into the advanced stage. The public outpouring for Bryant continued for another day, with more visitors staking out Staples Center downtown. Meanwhile, the Lakers have now posted 4 oversized boards outside their practice facility in El Segundo, which are used for fans to write messages or simply sign. Obviously, the club is still struggling to come to grips with the debts. With the exception of Vogel, prominent members of the franchise have limited their public remarks, although that thaw has now begun. Jeannie Buss, the controlling owner of the Lakers, posted a message on social media Thursday saying Bryant was highly regarded by Jerry Buss, the late owner of the Lakers, and the entire Buss family. Cricket West Indies President Ricky Skerritt has been appointed to the Melbourne Cricket Club MCC World Cricket Committee, which meets twice a year to discuss the most important issues in the game and acts as an independent voice in world cricket. Skerritt joins England's all-time leading run scorer Alistair Cook as new members after former West Indies fast bowler and current commentator Ian Bishop and Bangladesh all-rounder Shakib Al Hassan stood down from the committee. CWI President Skerritt also serves world cricket as member of the board of the International Cricket Council (ICC), where he was recently appointed to the Speaking World Working Group on Governance, set to consider the future governance structure of the ICC. In more cricket news, the committee has an independent panel of In tennis, Dominic Thiem will meet the defending champion Novak Djokovic in Sunday's Australian Open final after digging deep to beat Alexander Zverev. Thiem, 26, won 3-6, 6-4, 7-6, 7-3, 7-6, 7-4 in a match briefly interrupted by rain and a lightning failure. The Australian 5th seed said it was an unreal match and he will now look to win his first Grand Slam after losing the past 2 French Open finals. Djokovic is favored to win a record-extending 8th title and 17th major. The 32-year-old has lost just 3 matches in the past 10 Australian Open tournaments. German 7th seed Zverev, 22, was bidding to reach his first Grand Slam final, but instead, it's his good friend who will play for the title. That's it for sports. The latest weather forecast is up next. The weather tonight, mostly fair. Winds east-northeast at 9 to 22 kilometers per hour or 5 to 12 knots. Seas 0.6 to 1 meters or 2 to 3 feet. The sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:42 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Friday, 31st January 2020. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, new Treasury building officially opens here on Nevis. And new Bill Johnson election poll points to victory for Labour, opposing Cadre's poll of preferred Team Unity administration. Regionally, Carnival cruise ship passenger dies during trip to Bahamas. Internationally, UK to quit EU as Prime Minister promises new dawn. And in sports, Lakers gradually open up as they prepare for first game following Kobe Bryant's death. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Daniel Moore, wishing you a pleasant evening.